Good morning. Merry Christmas. Welcome to our Thursday devotion and prayer time. My name is Tom Lemler. I'm a staff member of the Deer Run Church of Christ in South Bend, Indiana, as well as the director of Impact Prayer Ministry. We've been talking and praying this week about knowing the gift of Jesus. What his gift looks like, not just in his coming to the world as a baby, but what his gift looks like in our life today. We've talked about knowing the gift of joy and of energy, knowing the gift of salvation. And today we're going to focus in on the gift of uniqueness. I suspect for some of you, you'll unwrap a gift today at some point that's very unique. Perhaps something someone made especially for you. Maybe it's customized. Maybe it's a piece of artwork of any kind that God put in the mind of the artist. But we tend to like unique gifts because there's nothing else like them. And we like them because it shows great thought. Well, most of the time. I suppose there's unique gifts that we get that we really don't care for. But many times, as we've talked about knowing the gift, we begin to understand, we begin to understand the heart of the giver. And when it comes to knowing the gift of Jesus, we know a gift of uniqueness that there's no one like him. And the things that we've already talked about this week can't be found in the same level except through Jesus. In fact, yesterday we talked about the gift of salvation. It's part of where this uniqueness of Jesus comes in. Acts 4, verse 12 says, "Salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to men by which we must be saved." The uniqueness of this gift of Jesus is that he's the only one that can bring salvation. There are a lot of people who have lived and died. There are a lot of people who still live that can give us great and meaningful gifts. But they will all be temporary. We may enjoy them for a lifetime. Our family may enjoy them for generations. If you're fortunate enough to have family heirlooms that have been passed down to you, and if you recognize not just the value of the item, but the meaning of the heritage behind it, you realize the importance of how unique that item is. There may well have been others made just like it, but they don't have the same history. They don't have the same connection. They don't have the same story. And unless cared for and valued, many of those others no longer even exist. There are times where, particularly men in their 50s and 60s, and become a little bit nostalgic, and they decide they're going to look for their first car. or maybe their first dream car. Maybe they never actually got it. They're going to have it restored. And many times the difficulty becomes is that there aren't a lot left that are even restorable. Nobody gave a lot of thought once they became unusable to keeping them around. But the great news about the uniqueness of the gift of Jesus is his eternity, his eternal nature. There's enough of him to go around. There's plenty to never run out. And while there's no one like him, there's no end to this gift. It's not only a gift that can be an heirloom gift within our families. We pass down not our faith, but a teaching of Jesus so that each individual can put their faith in Jesus. Sometimes we fall into the trap, somehow thinking we've inherited a salvation. Well, grandma and grandpa and great grandma and great grandpa, mom and they were all Christians. They were all believers. I grew up in a household of believers. I'm one of them. Well, that can be true if you've put your faith in Jesus. The uniqueness of salvation is it's an invitation to every individual. And you have to decide, just as I have had to decide, to accept that great gift, that unique gift, that gift that only comes through Jesus. And as you celebrate Christmas with loved ones, and you may say, well, I don't celebrate Christmas. Well, I'm guessing if you're listening to this broadcast, you do so because, well, you have an interest or desire or relationship with Jesus. And whether you get caught up in the technicalities of the Christmas holiday or not, you ought to be celebrating Jesus. So when I talk about celebrating Christmas, that's what I mean. Using the tools that we have, the convictions that God's Spirit has put in our life to honor Jesus in the best way that we can. And so as you celebrate Jesus, not only this season, but in all seasons of life, celebrate the unique gift that he is, not only to you, be sure to celebrate that, but the unique gift that he is to all mankind, to all who would put their faith in him. Would you spend some time today praying with me? Father, thank you that you are a God that loves us. Your love has called us to yourself. It has given us this gift that is unique, a gift of Jesus. No one like him, your one and only Son, who came to earth, was born as a baby, lived and grew and taught as a man, and yet was God. And in perfection without sin, he chose to make that sacrifice of his life. He said no one takes it from him. He lays it down willingly because of his love, because of his obedience to you, because of an awareness and uniqueness of the only one possible who could take away our sin. So, God, today, as we celebrate Christmas, as we consider the birth of Jesus, may we be thankful to you for the uniqueness of this great gift. And may we lift him up, proclaim Jesus as the only way, the only truth, the only life, the only one who can bring salvation. Father, as we lift up Jesus, may he draw many to himself. It's in his name that I pray. Amen. Well, this has been our Christmas Day, Thursday, devotion and prayer time. I would like to invite you to join us on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. for our morning worship gathering here at the Deer Run Church of Christ. This coming Sunday, December 28th, we wrap up our Exceedingly Great Joy Christmas series. Been working our way through the book of Philippians, a book that talks about Jesus coming to earth to be that sacrifice, that unique sacrifice. And so we'll wrap that up this week, talking about a winning joy. And love to have you here with us, 2730 South Ironwood Drive, South Bend, Indiana. But regardless of whether you come here or go somewhere else, I do pray that you connect with other believers, that you are encouraged by them just as you encourage them, and that you're a part of the body that God connects you with, so that you can work and grow together, so that Jesus is honored and glorified. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day.